Look, I'm in Burning Man, but over there is not Burning Man. It's like the same exact desert, but it cost me $500 to be on this side of this fence. Better get my money's worth. Hey, Wonderhussy here, back at Burning Man. If you've never heard of Burning Man, it's this huge sort of art and music festival up in this vast desert north of Reno. Pretty well in the middle of nowhere, but this group of artists started coming out here every year on Labor Day weekend to have a big party back in the 80s, and it kind of snowballed to the point where now 80,000 people come to party in this desert on Labor Day weekend. It's nuts. This is the 11th straight year I've come to this festival, and every year I ask myself, why do I bother? It's so much friggin' work to set all this stuff up. But then I remember how much fun it is. Like I said, this is my 11th straight year coming to this festival, and so far it's been pretty good this year. Today's Thursday. The event starts on the Sunday before Labor Day and goes through Labor Day Monday. So we're about halfway through the week, and so far it's been pretty fun compared to past years. It's been really hot. I mean, it's been like, I think over 100 degrees a couple days and in the 90s, and really windy and dusty, which I guess it kind of always is up here. But the heat is just really draining because, well, I'm staying in this beater-assed vintage travel trailer that I have, which is really cute and charming and vintage, but it's not very practical. It doesn't have air conditioning, which is kind of a bummer. But thankfully I brought my Jackery power bank that I can recharge with my solar panels. So at least I have some power in there. I can use a little desktop fan to blow on my face while I'm trying to sleep because it gets like a little oven in that trailer. It's nuts. I also use my Jackery to power all my lights. Well, except for this chandelier that I made out of color-changing light bulbs that somebody sent me that are battery-powered. I just clipped them all to this thing that I think is meant to hang your socks on to dry, but I thought it would make a cool chandelier. And I also use my Jackery to power my interior trailer lights. This is where all the magic happens. Like this crown I'm working on made of cocktail forks. Kind of like what I'm wearing right now, made out of cocktail forks. Now that it's too late that I'm already out here, I got the idea that I should have put olives on each one of these. That would have been funny. Anyway, I gotta go get ready for this party my camp is throwing tonight. I'm staying with a group of friends from Vegas they call themselves the Rudest Lounge. It's a long story. It kind of started out as a joke, and none of them are rude people at all, and I'm certainly trying not to be rude, but the name of the camp is the Rudest Lounge, and we have the people who kind of founded the camp built this giant mirrored penis and balls, like a disco ball, but they call it a Dixco ball. It's 5 feet tall. They actually did a really good job on it with all the mirrors. It's perfectly done, but we're having a Dixco party tonight, basically disco music and disco outfits. So I gotta go back to camp and get my disco outfit on because for me, a lot of the fun of Burning Man is just putting on crazy costumes. I've got a million of them, and I've got a really nice disco costume that I am going to have to go back and get changed into here pretty soon. Anyway, I've been riding around looking at some of the art out here, and it's pretty impressive, a lot of it. I mean, my favorite thing is this huge wooden building, I guess you would call it, or a collection of buildings called the Folly. I guess it's meant to resemble an old fishing village, but it's really neat because it's got these windmills on the front, like all this ship's rigging and weird signage, and then when you go inside there's all these different towers and rooms full of like the weirdest oddities and knickknacks, and I think they're gonna burn it tomorrow night. I mean, that's what they do here with most of the art is they burn it. I guess it's like a statement on the ephemeral nature of beauty or something like that. But this friggin' Folly, man, I hate to think how much time and effort and money went into it, and they're just gonna burn it right up tomorrow night. So I'm glad I got to experience that while it was still available. That was really cool. There's a bunch of really neat stuff out here. Some of it looks better at night. In fact, driving around Burning Man during the day kind of feels like being in a nightclub when they, if you've ever been in a nightclub at the end of the night when they turn the lights on and everything just looks real shabby and dingy and everyone's makeup is all running down their face because it's the end of the night. Well, that's kind of how Burning Man by day looks, but some of this stuff is actually best appreciated during the day. And right now it's that beautiful time of day, golden hour, where everything looks friggin' amazing. So I rode my bike out to the trash fence. This is the edge of Burning Man. They put this plastic orange construction fence up around the entire perimeter of the event. I think it's something like 5 miles across. I don't know. It's a huge event footprint. I forget. I should know this after being here 11 years. But they put this orange fence up to catch all the trash from blowing into the pristine desert beyond. This is interesting. If you look over the trash fence, look, I'm in Burning Man, but over there is not Burning Man. It's like the same exact desert, but it cost me $500 to be on this side of this fence. Better get my money's worth. Okay, so there's all this huge scale, massive, impressive art here, but my favorite thing that I've seen is something totally humble and not even man-made. It was already here before any of this stuff. Look at this. Okay, so just as a refresher, Burning Man is held on this big, dry lake bed. It's flat and cracked and dry, and nothing grows here at all. But apparently, some people were out here putting up an installation or something, and they did find something growing. Look at this. They found a little tiny tumbleweed growing out of the playa. This little tiny living thing hanging on by its toenails in this crazy dry desert. Look at that. I don't know why they put the sign here, don't water me. But yeah, that thing was really growing here. And so they put this little fence around it and turned it into a little art installation too. I just think that's so cute. I love all this art. I appreciate the insane amount of effort and time and money that people put into these things, and they're really fun to look at. But nothing beats Mother Nature. I mean, look at these mountains. The playa itself. This is one of the most amazing landscapes on planet Earth. And it's cool that these artists remembered to honor that. Oh wow, look down there. I'm not sure you can see, but there's a police presence. There's a lot of police out here because, well, I mean, let's be honest. A lot of the people here, if not most of the people here, are on some kind of drugs. If not alcohol, then something illicit. And although marijuana is legal in the state of Nevada where we are, this is considered federal property because it's BLM land, Bureau of Land Management. So marijuana is not legal here. So they cruise around and bust people for drug possession and also for just littering. Not so much as throwing down trash, but, well, a lot of times you're way out here riding your bike around and there's nowhere to go to the bathroom. I mean, there's banks of porta potties everywhere, but some people get lazy and they just poop or pee on the playa, and that's a no-no. They will write you a huge ticket for it, and rightly so, because it's disgusting. I mean, look how pristine and beautiful the other side of the fence is. We're trying to keep this side of the fence like that. But they actually do a good job. Speaking of, they call it leave no trace. All this crazy rigmarole will be completely picked up and the desert will be scoured clean by mid-October. They have like teams of people that stay out here and pick up every single little sequin and feather, and they're actually, say what you will about hippies and Burning Man and how lame it is and the impact it has on the environment, they do try really hard and they do a pretty dang good job picking up all the trash that's left behind. And us participants actually are a big part of that because we're all indoctrinated with the leave no trace Kool-Aid. So everything you bring into this festival, you have to bring out everything. So you got to bring in your own water, your own food, everything. There's no services of any kind out here. It's just a big dry lake bed, and they don't sell anything here except ice and coffee. So all your drinking water, all your food, everything's got to be brought in, and all that packaging that it came in has got to be brought out because there's no dumpsters here, no trash. And to our credit, the people who come to this festival actually do a pretty good job adhering to that principle. Okay, I rode out here on my bicycle. You gotta have a bike at Burning Man because it's the only way to really get around unless you have an art car, which there's a lot of amazing art cars here, but a lot of money goes into that, and then you gotta be sober to drive it around. And I don't know, honestly, driving an art car kind of seems like a nightmare to me because, you know, you're sober, but you can only go 5 miles an hour and you still have to avoid all the drunk idiots that are weaving in and out on bicycles. Most of these people never ride bikes in day-to-day life, so they're not very good at it. So driving an art car and trying not to hit people does not sound like much fun to me. So I rode my bike, and check this bike out. I got this bike in 2009 when I was preparing to go to Burning Man for the first time. I bought it for $35 on Craigslist from a woman in Old Hendertucky, suburb of Las Vegas. $35 beater old mountain bike. I covered it with duct tape back in 2009. I put some lights and flowers on it over the years. They've mostly stopped working or fallen off. But I'm proud to say this bike is a champ, dude. I've taken it up here. This is my 11th year taking it up here. It has never even had a flat tire once. I've never had any issues with it whatsoever. Every year when I get home, all I do is blast it off with a hose to get all the dust off and then squirt WD-40 all over the gears. That's it. I don't do any other maintenance. I've never tinkered with anything. I've, like I said, never even had to change a tire. So, though this bike is unsightly and not that comfortable to ride, I'm not messing with it because I know it works. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, we had a great disco party. There was actually a really good turnout. We all danced under our giant mirrored disco ball and had a really good time. In fact, this BLM officer I met back in January even showed up. Okay, Burning Man is held on BLM land, which is federally managed land. So the law enforcement up here is from the BLM. Well, back in, oh gosh, I think March, I was camping down way southern California by the Salton Sea, if you know where that is. And I was hanging out at my camp naked because I was trying to get a tan. And I saw a BLM officer roll by. Well, my girlfriend and I were camped way out in the middle of nowhere, so I knew I wasn't bothering anybody with my nudity, but I still wasn't sure about the legality of it. So I put some clothes on, and the BLM guy came up to our camp and said he just wanted to let me know that there had been a stolen car found in the area, so there was going to be some more traffic coming in, you know, a tow truck and some police, and he just wanted to let me know in case I wanted to get dressed. So I took the advantage of that opportunity to ask him, well, is it legal to be nude on public lands? And he said, yeah, it was fine as long as I was at least 2 miles away from a developed campground, blah, blah, blah. Well, we ended up chatting for like an hour, and he asked me if I go to Burning Man because guess what? He is one of the officers assigned to work at Burning Man. So I said, yeah, I do go to Burning Man, and I'll look for you when I get up there this year. So I asked, when I got here, I asked the first BLM guys I saw if they knew an officer by his name, and they apparently passed the message to him because he showed up with his partner right before our disco ball party started, and it was super cool, man. He's a nice guy. We took a picture together. He was very good-natured, so it was a really good omen and the beginning of an awesome night. We were out way too late that night, till like sunrise actually, but I guess it was all worth it. Anyway, I'm back here at my camp now. It's actually Saturday, the big day. You just step inside my trailer real quick. Much better. A little windy and dusty out there. I had to come inside and get out of it. Anyways, today's Saturday night. It's the big night, the big finale to the Burning Man week. This is the night they burn the man. And if you've never been to this party, it's friggin' insanity. I mean, I think about this every year when I'm out there. All the art cars and most of the people here kind of go out and cluster in a circle around the man, and it looks like the Las Vegas Strip times 100. It's nuts. And every year when I'm out there, I think to myself, this is probably the biggest party on the planet right now. So that's later tonight. I'm looking forward to that. I had to take some time out for self-care to get ready. I actually feel pretty good. I've been, getting a decent amount of sleep, and I've been taking vitamins and drinking plenty of water, but I used the day to wash my hair and just do some primping, and it's important to take care of yourself. So even though I've been going out pretty much every night this week, I feel like I have enough juice left in me for one more big night. Okay, well, unfortunately, I was living in the moment too much last night to shoot any footage at all, pretty much. I didn't take any video of the man burning or the fireworks or the whole thing because I was having too much fun. Oh my gosh, I didn't come home until I think it was like 7 or 8 a.m. I rode around on my friend's art car, the Church of the Open Mind, all night long, watched the sunrise, just with a great group of people having a really good time. I mean, I know people have this image in their mind of Burning Man as this crazy drug-fueled orgy, but the reality of it was we were just riding around on a car shaped like a church, playing with, of all things, a slide whistle. The best $20 ever spent. Had so much fun with this thing last night. We had a crew of responsible adults. These were professional people, photographers, attorneys. You know, everybody was having a great time with this slide whistle. Sometimes it's the simple things in life. Anyways, man burn was great. It is now Sunday. Everyone is pretty faded. A lot of people have already packed up and started to leave, but not me. I'm not a quitter. Tonight's the night they burn the temple, so I'm gonna go watch that. And then after the temple burn, this camp I used to stay with called Sunset Lounge, that's a real crazy group of degenerates, have a party. Because they're not into the sadness of the temple burn. It's kind of, when they burn the temple, it's kind of a spiritual, mournful, rebirth type situation. People cry, whatnot. Well, Sunset Lounge, they're not into that. They'd rather have a wake than a funeral. So they always have this big party on Sunday night after the temple burn. So my plan is to rally and go to that as the one last party of the week. Well, I got most of my camp packed up. It's Monday. The party is over. We went and watched the temple burn last night and then rode around for a bit, went to a party, but man, I was just so tired. It was really hard to get in the spirit, but somehow I managed to stay up till almost 6 a.m. And then today we just spent the day packing up camp. So I got pretty much everything packed up. All I have to do in the morning is take down my shade, my carpet, hitch up and roll out. I'm not going straight home. I'm going to a hot spring for a few days to ease the transition back to real life. But right now I'm going to have a cup of coffee and try to get juiced up for the one last party. I know I keep saying one last party, but there is another party tonight that's really for the hardcore, and it's where all the people who have flame effects on their cars or on their art burn up all their leftover propane. So it's a big flame effects party. And it's pretty interesting, not only because of all the flame effects, but because everybody there looks like a reject from a Mad Max movie. Everyone's so tired and dirty from packing up all day. So let me go make some coffee and get ready for that. All right, this is it. We went out last night to the propane poofer party. Unfortunately, I was having too much fun to shoot any video. But now it's Tuesday morning. I've got everything packed up. My whole shade canopy, all my lights, all my tapestries, all my fancy frippery. And now it's the not so fun part, which is picking up every last little bit of garbage that is inadvertently dropped on the ground. Here at Burning Man, they call it MOOP. It's an acronym, M-O-O-P. It stands for Matter Out of Place. And that's one of the ways that Burning Man keeps getting their permit renewed for this event is burners are pretty hardcore about picking up every last little bit of garbage that they brought with them. Leave no trace. They take it really seriously. So we just raked our whole camp and picked up every last little tiny bit of sequin, feather, thread, whatever it was that was dropped. And we're ready to roll out. I'm just gonna get changed into some clean clothes hit the porta potties one last time for old time's sake, and roll out on my way to the next adventure, which is decompressing at a hot spring in a forest. Oh, I can't wait. It's so hot and dry here. Some water sounds amazing.